Vyrah, reporting for duty. Another time together. Oh my fucking god. And my stream crashed. Yeah. Just give me 1 second. Right. Okay. Yeah. So React. Some React. Yeah, let's do some React. Or is it like this? Okay. Okay, honest game trailer. Elden Ring. If you never played Elden Ring, play Elden Ring. If you never heard about honest game trailers, give it a try. They're really awesome. All right, honest game trailer, Elden Ring. Let's check this out. I need to my fuck. I hate the fact that like. Okay. There's sound. Okay. Perfect. Alright.
Inspired by the mind of George R.R. Martin and the studio that brought us the video game equivalent of waterboarding, comes a new type of Soulsborne experience that changes the series forever with one very important twist. You get a pretty pony. Elden Ring. Stand in awe of the expanse that is Elden Ring, as From Software releases their most ambitious Souls game since they called it King's Field, taking the usual sadistic formula out of the traditional series of gated hallways into a vast open world filled to the very brim with every single thing that made you suffer in every previous title, which somehow took the series status from for hardcore gamers to universally beloved, except for people who want to complain about the menus or whatever, by finally executing From Software's plan of making everyone get good whether they want to or not, in a title that proves Souls games aren't just for masochists that would voluntarily throw themselves in front of a balls-kicking machine.
No.
Or maybe just proves that somewhere deep inside, we're all balls-kicking machine guy. Now that it's mainstream, I'm pretty sure making fun of these games is considered kink-shaming.
The story of Elden Ring is so good. Like, even if you're not into Souls likes, it doesn't matter. It is that good.
Explore the sheer magnitude of the lands between, as the surreal and beautiful nightmarescapes of the Souls aesthetic are blown up American extra large, and you'll travel through dramatically different landscapes and like 10 distinct varieties of poison swamp to absolutely get stomped on in each and every one of them, where despite the fact that you're in a Skyrim-sized world, you'll still do the Dark Souls thing and run past all the dudes to collect graces just so you can declench your sphincter a little bit, which is luckily made much easier because they gave you a double jumping horse, only to realize that you've gone too far as you get completely demolished by a single enemy. Then discover the true genius of Elden Ring, as you simply pack it up and go somewhere else for a while, where the mostly unbarred environment allows you to completely avoid the futility of beating your head against a single boss for hours, which plagued the previous titles. Then watch in horror as your dumbass does that anyway, because getting beat down by Margit 20 times has injured your pride. That is, if you can pry yourself away from meandering into every cave to collect all the weapons you don't have the build for. In an open world.
Yeah, so many fucking weapons. You begin to choose your class, and then you see all these fucking useless items during all your playthrough, and you're just like, it will be nice if it could be fucking awesome to me. Like, I get it. It's just that it's really didn't thought about the fact that, like, play it in Elden Ring, you pick a class, and for the whole playthrough, you see armors and weapons never for you, and this never for you is actually kind of stupid when you think about it.
Experience that doesn't so much as hold your hand as abandon you during childhood. Miyazaki said he was just going out for cigarettes. That was 45 years ago. Uncover the machinations of the Elden Ring and step into the shoes of the Tarnished, another dreg of a protagonist that finds themselves in a world where every person, animal, and plant wants to kill them. Tasked to fight a bunch of demigods and reforge the pieces of the Elden MacGuffin. In a narrative unheard of for a Souls game that sort of lets you know what's going on from the get-go, but still somehow manages to be just as vague as you piece together the cryptic dialogue of the numerous weirdos and creeps around you, and try to parse lore with a Similarian level of made-up fantasy names to keep straight, which is probably what has kept George R.R. Martin from writing more Games of Thrones for all these years, despite the fact that 95% of the player base will ignore it completely.
Made their way to the realm. Very well. It is safe here.
In favor of their personal storyline, Big Sword Kill Guy. But hey, I guess somebody's got to keep the Souls YouTuber economy afloat. Roll around like you're on fire in the frenetic combat of Elden Ring that revamps the systems of the previous titles and adds the unthinkable, a jump button. Which mostly means you'll have a second thing to mash until...
It is really stupid, but like, can you believe it that before that Souls game never had that jumping button? Like, at all. Like, you could not jump. Like, it's really stupid, but like, it's a good thing that they reminded that you really, before Elden Ring, you could not jump in any Souls game. Just so you know.
You rub your fingerprints off other than dodge. Then jump into some of the sweatiest Souls combat you've ever experienced, where new additions like guard counters and awkwardly fighting from horseback add variety to the encounters. Unless you're a magic user, where you'll cheese out everything from a safe distance just like normal, to constantly get instantly bodied so hard you die in real life. In combat that will test all the skills you've built up in countless hours of the previous titles, and inevitably crush your ego on the altar of some horrible construct with way too many limbs, or simply a big dog. Until you just bite the bullet and invite strangers to help you take them down, or summon an upgradable spirit jellyfish.
This really takes out something from the game. I think like I used co-op for a lot. I feel that like it kind of spoiled the game because I didn't finish it the way it was like built to be played, you know. So yeah, don't fucking do the co-op thing. Do the fights as they are, like created for you, because like for real, co-op takes away so much difficulty and so much pressure that like it makes it kind of like really I really felt I really regretted the fact that like I used co-op for like bosses rather than forcing the grind, you know?
Because honestly, why not? In some of the most ridiculous fights you've ever seen in a Souls game, none of which will prepare you for the game's true battles. The one against the game's bad optimization, and every dickhead who keeps trying to get you to jump off a cliff. You know, nothing quite gets me in the headspace to appreciate this game's painstakingly crafted setting more than reading 40 messages that say Fort Common Night. So put on your oversized hat and get ready to praise the ring. For a gaming experience that treats you like you're smarter than you actually are, which despite its highs and lows, deserves genuine respect for sticking to its genuinely unique design, that attempts to truly make you feel like you're exploring a forgotten world and not just checking off boxes on a list. And I'm not just saying that because of the Stockholm Syndrome anymore. Starring, dying, crying, misjudging the jump and dying from fall damage, rolling to your death, missing every swing on your horse, endless cheese, getting invaded at the worst time, griefing in PvP as revenge, insisting you double wield the big weapons despite fat rolling, hitting every wall in case they're an illusion, respecting over and over, destroying all furniture around you. Patches, looking like a child who dressed themselves for peak stats, debating on killing an NPC for their swag, laughing at Rudon's ridiculous horse, crying around Rudon's ridiculous horse, getting hugs after trying your best, and being maidenless, in-game and in real life. Elden Finger Ring, but whole. The real threat of this game isn't the massive dragons or powerful demigods, it's the crabs and lobsters. Seriously, I haven't been this threatened by seafood since I got food poisoning at Red Lobster. Tell us what you'd like to hear in my epic voice in the comments below.
Are quite. Anyway, all right. Give for real. Honest Game Trailer really does trailers like this for mini games. Leave them a like, subscribe to them, and yeah, share the love. Anyway, thank you so much. I mean, it was awesome. Fuck.
For spoilers.
Honest Game Trailer, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree. If you don't know Honest Game Trailer, give them some love. They're awesome. Let's check this out.
From the developers famous for making PTSD a video game mechanic and probably cost gamers millions in property damage, comes the DLC for the critically acclaimed series that holds nothing back, because the devs know what you did last game, and they definitely aren't letting you get away with it this time. Better dust off the old bite plate.
Let down on this, son. It helps.
Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree. Re-enter the fog once more, as the title that changed the gaming landscape comes out with its highly anticipated DLC that gives you another half a decade of content to obsess over, with more lore, more world, and more of that colonoscopy-inducing gameplay that you just can't seem to get enough of. For $40, it's not a bad time. In this economy, a real-life dominatrix is way more expensive than that. That's not the kind of inflation I asked for. Delve into the Shadow Realm.
I'm banishing you to the Shadow Realm. No!
As they tie up loose ends by finally telling you what happened to Withered Cocoon Guy. Then take the strong hand and be transported to the Land of Shadows, a realm in conflict between gingers and blondes. Then fight your way through banished legends as you put yourself between a family feud of epic proportions. Playing Steve Harvey the only way you know how. Killing everyone and stealing all their stuff. I mean, come on, look at the lore. It's not like you're gonna be able to fix whatever's going on there. I mean, who do you live with after the divorce when your mom is your dad? Roam the beautiful and semi-transparent plains of the Land of Shadows as you rediscover your sense of awe and frustration, with many new horizons to explore. And then re-explore when you run back to pick up the runes you dropped, leading you down new winding paths that will introduce you to new abominations, new antisocial NPCs that you'll struggle to understand.
I like finding things.
And new half-naked weirdos that seem to jump out of every corner just to make your day worse. Then meander around until you eventually see an important-looking castle or ruin, where you'll valiantly fight the boss, only to get turned into a puddle of goop the second you f*** up a dodge. Okay, let's be real here. In the Venn diagram of Elden Ring players,
Typical Dark Soul type of gameplay.
one circle is being a glutton for punishment, the other is having a hoarding problem, and that tiny sliver in the middle, being maidenless. Okay, one maiden if you got the Ronnie ending. Big man, good for you. Prepare for burning that "you died" screen right into your retina, as Elden Ring comes back with a vengeance that will make the godlike build you worked so hard on feel like it's made of wet toilet paper, as you mess around with new equipment and spells, hoping to make up for the gap again, only to discover that despite all the hundreds of hours you've already put in this game, you'll still make the same old mistakes, like rolling off cliffs, getting ambushed around corners, and striking pillars to get absolutely bodied. Once you get over your own incompetence, slowly start to recognize that this DLC hits a bit different, as enemies seem to swing just a little longer than you're used to. Bosses have more attacks you'll have to jump away from, and everything has skills to break you out of combo or rolls. Then realize that devs have watched all the YouTube videos of players gloating about their achievements and absolutely took it personally. With a brutal DLC that teaches you that getting good is a never-ending battle, and less politely, bitch, you thought. Okay, look, you might think that this is just some conspiracy theory, but I mean, they make you fight Radon again, and he's already off his tiny horse? If that doesn't scream bloody revenge for having to nerf him, I don't know what does. We are clearly being punished for our hubris. I blame Let Me Solo Her guy. So jump on your pretty prancing pony and get ready to emote that cute OK sign for an experience that can only be summarized as don't get the devs mad, in a game that will test your skills, your adaptability, and mostly your ego. Because the biggest thing getting in the way of you in victory is not summoning other players to do all the work for you. Look, say what you want, but I think the Elden Ring community is one of the most helpful in gaming. I mean, who else is this willing to stick around and watch you get one-shotted for an hour? Okay, well, mostly. Starring The Bourne Identity, This Fire Weenie, Bog Witch Era, Moon Knight, Derogatory, Hungry Hate Crime, A Centaur Drawn from Memory, Biblically Accurate Hands, Ancient Dragon Man, Balrog When He Did Pass, The Ghosts of All the Sunflower Seeds You've Eaten, Tokyo Ghoul Would Like a Word, The Most Violent Swingers Party, The Lion King Live on Broadway, When You Burn Your Mouth on a Hot Pocket, Sexy Kool-Aid Man, and Double Dragon These Nuts, Offer Rump But Destruction, Arrested Development. You know what being whipped really is? Somehow after all these games that From Software's made, still holding out hope for a Bloodborne sequel. I mean, look man, I don't think she's coming back. Okay, let's be real though, we're still hoping, right? Come on, From Software.
Yes.
I promise we'll buy your collector's editions. Please, man. Hey, trailer fans, we've got a brand new show on Games.
Okay, this was awesome. Thank you, Honest Trailer, for doing the Honest Trailer. Okay, let me check. Okay. Everything is in fucking order, so let's keep going. Let me be right back. Fucking where is it? Okay. Mm-mm. The lost era of anime will never get back. If they talk about like classic classic 90s type of anime, I think that we have a chance because some people just are able to just like retake the style and remodel it. But let's check it out. Yeah, let's check it out.
There's the kind of anime Japan literally cannot make anymore. Not won't, can't. And these types of anime will never be made ever again.
Okay, then I'm curious because technically, if it's a style of seed, if this is a style, some new anime actually did a retro type of like art direction for their anime, and it worked. It was completely like awesome. So I'm kind of curious what it means, you know.
The ominous ambiance, the ethereal scenery, the beautiful grotesque violence is something that Japan cannot produce in the same capacity. These shows were born in a window of time when studios had too much freedom, too little oversight, and just enough madness. And then one day, they disappeared. So there's just one thing I gotta know. What the hell happened to them? What killed this breed of anime? What changed so drastically that something this bold, this strange, this specific just stopped being made? Why do they feel like relics from another dimension? First, we need to figure out what these shows even were. And by the end of this, not only will you know exactly what kind of anime I'm talking about, you'll have a list of the most must-watch shows from this generation. And you'll understand why we'll never get anything like them ever again.
Okay, it made me even more curious. So actually an interesting argument. So it was a culture thing. Okay, let's check it out. I'm actually really curious.
In 1983, a Japanese dude released a series that would spark a shift in anime so great, it shaped the next 2 decades. The series was called Dallos. It was totally unremarkable in terms of its story by modern standards, only remarkable in the way that it was released. Dallos was never shown on TV. Instead, it was immediately sent to video stores as a VHS tape, marking it as the first ever OVA. Original Video Animation.
Yeah, OVA became kind of like ways to that anime did spin-offs. Basically, the spin-off of an anime is usually called an OVA. Like, just so you know. Basically, like, there are like also OVAs that are based on stories that are like completely unique, you know, like it's like a one shot. But an OVAs, they last a little longer, so sometimes it's like the length of 2 episodes, sometimes the length of a movie. But yeah, OVA is an interesting like part of like the anime history that is like not talked about enough, because most well-known animes, they all have OVAs.
This is Angel's Egg. After Dallos shocked all of Japan in 1983, studios quickly followed. So it was only 2 years later until we got this masterpiece. Set in a desolate primordial world where only a single girl wanders. All she wants is to protect this egg. She thinks it'll hatch into an angel, and maybe that'll fix the emptiness around her. But what happens when someone tries to break that egg? What happens when that egg breaks? What's so gripping from Angel's Egg is its atmosphere. It's how a story with almost no dialogue, only 2 characters in an ocean of silence, can be so distinct. The setting, the ominous music, mixed with how the movie lingers on stills, builds an encompassing eerie tension that made me stew in my own thoughts until I couldn't help but be flooded with questions. It's spectacular, one of the most evocative anime I've ever seen.
I heard about this anime. Actually, I could watch. I didn't got the time to actually get into it because It is apparently like a masterpiece within like its way to be rhythmed, but at the same time it's the type of dark animes that really makes you fucking depressed sometimes when you finish watching them.
Something like this is only possible because it's an OVA. Now imagine for a second you tried pitching something like this to a modern production committee and they'd look at you like you were insane. But that's the thing, OVAs weren't built for mass appeal. They weren't meant to fill airtime or rake in box office numbers, because OVAs were designed to be bought physically before anyone ever saw a single frame. No TV broadcasts, no theatrical runs, just straight to VHS. And that gave creators a rare kind of freedom to make something stranger, slower, more specific, designed for a niche audience, with no time slots to fill, no censors to please, no runtime restrictions to worry about. It was just a director's unfiltered vision. This allowed them to create such distinct works that are missing in modern anime.
This is interesting. This is such a subculture and kind of like an anime movement. Maybe it can be called like that, that I never knew about. That's fascinating.
Which leads me to the next OVA that you might have missed, and I don't say this lightly. It might be the weirdest, most visually unhinged thing I've ever seen. Meet Catsup, an experimental short film released in 2001. It follows the story of these two cats in particular, where this one tragically passes away, and while her soul is leaving her body, her sibling does everything he can to stop it, resulting in her soul splitting in two, which leaves his sister as a husk of her former self. So he goes on an adventure through the land of the dead to try to bring her back to how she once was. It sounds dramatic to say, but this might genuinely be one of the weirdest, most original things I've ever watched. Experiencing a surreal, dialogue-free film centered around these two characters that's filled with existential imagery of a world collapsing in on itself is not something I could have ever expected. I mean that in the best way possible. The series is a perfect example of how wildly experimental an OVA can be.
This seems fascinating.
It has an awkward runtime of 35 minutes, it has no dialogue, and it has these stupid looking cats as the main characters. It's the kind of thing that would never get greenlit today. Likewise, I'd be shocked if you could find a current series as unapologetically provocative as this comedy OVA masterpiece. Now, Golden Boy is almost the OVA of OVAs to be watching from that older generation. It came out in 1995 with a dub that rivals the legendary titan of comedy anime dubs, Ghost Stories.
Think of a big black man chasing you!
Yeah, if you know, you know. If you saw the memes, what the fuck is this thing? What the fuck is this anime? Let's keep going.
Well, he's not racist.
Golden Boy is a show that embodies the, yo, let's all get fucked up and watch this show at 3 a.m. and laugh our asses off. Its formula is simple. New episode, new job, new girl, Kentaro starts tweaking out. And usually leads to chaos and life lessons. Nothing groundbreaking here. But here's the thing, it didn't really need to be. Back then, you would get this type of joke.
You son of a...
Now, you get something along the lines of this. That's a night and day difference, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, but they do come from completely different places. It's not just about laughs, it's about what we expect from a comedy and what we're willing to laugh at. See, in the 80s and 90s, OVAs were being sold directly to fans. You had to buy the damn thing if you wanted to watch it, which means the only people watching these shows were the hardcore fucking gooners who could only think about anime titties and spending money on that shit. So, of course, studios weren't trying to hit mass appeal. The masses literally couldn't watch these things. Instead, what rose to the top were the weird, the provocative, the unforgettable. And that's why you get jokes like this.
My queen! Oh, you're so naughty!
That's comedy gold to them. Today, with anime on every streaming platform, creators are thinking broader. Anyone can watch anything, anytime, anywhere. So creators aim for a wide appeal. And because OVAs were targeted at very specific demographics, you don't see a lot of tropes you're used to in modern anime. No high school settings, no power of friendship speeches. Instead, you get stuff that's cut from a more unique cloth. And well, because of who these shows were made for, you get things like this. This is Bubblegum Crisis, a slick cyberpunk OVA from 1987 that oozes style. It follows an all-female squad of mercenaries fighting corrupt megacorporations, rogue robots, and whatever else needs blowing up in a neo-lit Tokyo. And it might have the sickest opening 5 minutes I've ever seen in anime. It doesn't start with a little character introduction, it doesn't even start with a normal anime opening. It just hits you full on with a J-rock / city pop performance like a music video from a cooler timeline. It's not even an opening theme, it's just a song. Because why not? You would never get anything like that today in anime. Or how about Wicked City? Now, this one's for more real degenerates. The basic setup is this. There's a barrier between the human world and the demon world, but it's getting weaker, and demons disguised as people start leaking into the human world.
Oh, damn.
And let's just say, if you take the wrong girl home from a bar, you might not be waking up. You're catching every demon STD known to man and dying with zero dignity. So it follows a stoic demon hunter and a demon woman as they're tasked with protecting this man who will restore that barrier. It's sleazy, it's stylish, it's a little fucking sexual, but I gotta be honest, there's still something cool about it. Not because of the weird sex pest energy, but because it's bold. It was made with an audience in mind that doesn't really exist anymore. An audience that wanted violence, horniness, and some of the sickest hand-drawn animation you've ever seen. Every time I saw this scene, I was like, I love this stupid car, man. Now there's one more type of OVA that we need to talk about. I'm talking about OVAs born from early hype. When a manga was so gassed out of the gate, studios couldn't wait. They just had to cash in, even if it meant rushing out tiny half-baked adaptations way before the story was ready. Like Gunsmith Cats. It follows Rally and Minnie, two girls who run a gun shop by day and are bounty hunters by night. But here's the thing, the OVA isn't even a straight adaptation of the manga, it's an original side story. However, it's still pretty damn good. It's cute, it's fun, it's got some absolutely fire animation, and the opening looked so damn good. But when you watch it, you can feel that it's just a glimpse of what the full story could have been if it ever got a proper adaptation. Then there's also Yokohama Shopping Log, a quiet, reflective series set after humanity's decline in a post-cataclysmic world. It just follows a robot girl, living peacefully among the remnants of a fading world. It's cozy, it's slow, it's the anime equivalent of sitting on a porch with a cup of tea and watching the sunset. And it's so good precisely because it doesn't try to overdo it. There are tons of OVAs like these, early adaptations where studios bet big on a manga's potential, sometimes way too early. But that's the part of what makes them so special. Today, if a manga popped off like this, you'd expect a 13 to 25 episode full season, but back then, you might get 2 episodes in a VHS release. It would be like if someone adapted Chainsaw Man into an 8-episode OVA in 2019. Sure, this was gonna get an anime, but if you jump the gun that early, it's just too soon. That's why these early OVAs feel kinda like time capsules. They're not full adaptations. They're whispers of what could have been, snapshots of potential before the stories even fully bloomed. And if you're a fan of the original manga, these OVAs feel like little treasures. But it's not just OVAs that captured that feeling. It's not just the short, rough gems that we'll never see made this way again. There's a whole other side to this lost era of anime, and that's the films. So let me talk about a story that embodies that loss of grit.
It's really like anime did not, before Demon Slayer, anime movies were really something really niche and really kind of like forgotten. It was like, it exists, and for some animes, if you're a big fan, let's say of Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, you can watch a movie. But it's really like before Demon Slayer, anime movies were really unpopular and really something that no one really cared about, you know?
And is also my favorite anime film of all time. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust follows D, a bounty hunter hired to retrieve a girl abducted by a vampire nobleman, Baron Meyer. At the same time, another group is hired for the same mission. The two parties race after Meyer, crossing deserts and wandering through swamps and breaking into invisible hideouts and clashing with shapeshifters and shadow weavers and werewolves all along the way. But the twist is, Charlotte wasn't kidnapped. She went with Meyer willingly, which throws everything into chaos. Will the bounty hunters stick with their contracts or let Charlotte live by her own choices? The straight up plot is not my real source of obsession with Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I think it instead stems from the nuggets of an ending dedication to the minute details of the film. Its mystical creatures, its distinct character designs, its grandiose backgrounds, its elegant frames, its sweeping dynamic camera shots. It's these little details that flesh out the world and breathe all of the life into the story. And to me, the one moment that really captures that magic happens right after Dee's first encounter with the Marcus brothers. After the encounter, he rides alone into an empty desert. He dismounts from his horse, kneels by the ground, and examines faint tracks in the sand. At first, it feels quiet, still, like nothing is out there. And then you realize he's standing before a herd of sand mantas. And without hesitation, Dee leaps onto their backs, riding them across the wasteland. It's a scene that doesn't need many words. It doesn't need a fight. It's pure atmosphere, pure world building executed perfectly. And to me, that's the real beauty of Bloodlust. It's not about the flashiest fight choreo. It's not about having the most
This actually looks like a sick movie. Like, this actually is the character design and the art direction is just out of this world. What the fuck?
lavishly detailed backgrounds. It's about the elegance of the world itself. The quiet sense that this strange dying universe existed long before you started watching it and will keep existing after you're gone. When you see shots like this, you can almost feel the world Dee lives in. And when the film shifts from scenes like this to this, you can sense the vastness of the journey. The dedication to every detail in Bloodlust is overwhelming, and given a little more context, the story of why becomes a bit more clear. Back in 1985, there was another Vampire Hunter D movie, but compared to Bloodlust, it felt rushed, so much so that the original creator constantly criticized it. That failure lit a fire under the team behind Bloodlust, and I think it shows. Every frame feels handcrafted and deliberate, and in a way that Bloodlust would never understand. It was kind of like a farewell letter to an era. Because the truth is, anime like this only existed because of a perfect storm. A booming economy, loose censorship, and studios willing to throw cash at bizarre, risky visions. OVAs and films alike thrived in that chaos. But when Japan's economy collapsed in the 90s, the Wild West days dried up. Budget shrank, and risk tolerance disappeared. In 1994, there were 70 different OVAs. In 2024, just 5. That era is gone, and with it, a kind of anime that felt experimental, raw, and unforgettable. Sure, sparks of that energy still show up in shows like Devilman Crybaby or Cyberpunk Edgerunners, but they're rare. And maybe that's why these shows feel so special, not because they're perfect, but because they couldn't be made today. They were snapshots, strange, messy, and beautiful proof that anime once played by different rules. And now, they're waiting for someone curious enough to find them, dust them off, and remember what anime used to be capable of.
Oh my fucking god, thank you so much, Ban, for this video. This was actually fucking awesome. He talks about like a lot of like good animes. I heard about this one. I discovered Vampire Hunter D. It's really awesome, and it's really like a part of Japanese anime history that I really didn't know. So thank you so much, Bon. Don't forget to share the love. Okay. Okay. Yeah, boy Tyler released a class AI generated type of lore video. So let's check it out.
Druids tread the narrow pathway between nature.
Oh, go fuck yourself. Oh my fucking god.
And civilization. They
Okay.
have pledged to defend both. Druids tread the narrow pathway between nature and civilization.
Wow.
They have pledged to defend both, even from one another. Druids choose adaptability as an adage. Each member of the Cenarian Order can be a healer, a predator, a guardian, or a caller of storms, shifting between responsibilities as is necessary.
Wow, the
Guilds have
Moonkin is
long
absolutely
learned
beautiful.
that if a role needs filled, their druid can probably handle it.
The
When the
Moonkin
winds
is
shift
so
in battle,
well
as
rendered.
they often do, the druid will simply shift with them. Balanced druids embody the harmony between sun and moon, carrying the natural cycle of darkness and light on their feathered shoulders. They take the visage of an owl beast, calling down crashing lunar magic from a distance, switching to stellar fire and burning stars as the gap from their enemies shrinks. In battle, they keep a careful rhythm, building cosmic momentum until the sky itself seems to collapse. To
Damn.
outsiders, it can look theatrical, an armored owl summoning pillars of light. But seasoned veterans understand. When the balanced druid channels their powers, the heavens themselves go to war. Feral
Damn.
druids abandon spellcasting for the savagery of tooth and claw. In the blink of an eye, they slip into the form of a prowling cat, stalking enemies with the same patience as an elder predator. Feral combat appears as a wild flurry, but in truth is a tactical equilibrium between precision and timing.
It's so well
Every
rendered.
pounce, rip, and rake is carefully chosen to bleed an opponent dry, sapping energy from foes as the feral druid manages their own. The feral combat style is often compared to the rogue, but instead of fiddling with trick boxes or locked doors, the druid opens the innards of their prey. Meanwhile, guardian druids take the form of massive bears, trading quiet subtlety for loud endurance. Where others rely on ramparts and fortifications, guardian druids themselves are the wall.
Yeah,
Thick
it's so
hides
well rendered.
shrug off punishment that would break even
So
hardened
beautiful.
warriors, while guttural roars pull enemies' attention away from more fragile allies. Guardians endure prolonged warfare, grinding down a sea of foes and even healing their own wounds mid-fight should the situation become overwhelming. Lastly, restoration druids are the quiet lifeline of countless expeditions. Their healing does not arrive in sudden bursts, but in steady waves. Gentle magic spreads through allies like roots beneath the soil. Experienced adventurers know
Tranquility.
the comfort of seeing those soft green glows settle over a group. It means someone is watching the battlefield with patience rather than panic.
Damn.
A druid is rarely the loudest presence on the field of battle. But no matter what role is demanded of them, the wild predator, the ardent protector, the wise naturopath, the roiling storm, the druid answers the call. They are versatile, yet they are mavens. The druid is a disciplined master who did not choose one path through the wilds, but every path, all at once.
Damn. Thank you so much. Leave a like to your boy Tyler. Damn, this was so fucking good. Look at the forms of the druid forms. He took into account like the customization, but it looks like so powerful and like so fucking well rendered. Yeah, the spells are so beautiful. It's so fucking awesome. Thank you so much, Abo Tyler. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. The Rogue, yeah, boy, Tyler. Share the love. It's WoW lore. Using AI generated like images, so it just adds up. Like basically, it's lore with like cutscenes, basically. So yeah, give it a try. It's actually really good, and it's better than just like, at least for me, it's a format that works better than reading lore, or like it just works for certain stories. So yeah, boy, Tyler presents like classes, and let's see what how does he sees the rogue. I'm kind of curious because like the three specializations like is something that like really I want to see.
The rogue exists in shadows, lurking away from the torchlight, arriving at a locked chest and exiting with contents in hand. The rogue's reputation precedes their introduction. Doors are found mysteriously opened. Deadly traps linger as harmless decor. Rogues lighten purses and weaken enemies before they are even aware the rogue has stepped into the room. Among the ragtag gallery of rogues, there are executioners by way of poison, outlaws who thrive on momentum, and those who vanish so completely that only corpses linger as hints they were ever there.
Damn.
Assassination rogues master the patient art of inevitability. They specialize in poisons, bleeds, and precision, turning a single opening into a slow, unavoidable end. Every strike is measured, every toxin chosen for efficiency over spectacle. In practice, this means targets weaken long before they realize they are in danger. Health draining away as the rogue calmly maintains pressure. Assassination rogues thrive in sustained fights, smiling quietly as enemies collapse, not from one blow, but from 1,000 cuts placed before their target could even react. Meanwhile, there are combat rogues, known for a time as outlaws. They fight toe-to-toe, blades flashing and knives thrown, turning momentum into survival. They thrive on adaptability, reacting on instinct and pressing every advantage as soon as it appears. Combat rogues never seem to run out of energy. They clear rooms faster than expected, and treat danger as a resource to be spent. Their job is messy, loud by roguish standards, and deadly effective. Lastly, there is the subtlety rogue. While other rogues use the darkness and see it as an ally, they merely adopted the dark. Subtlety rogues were born into it, molded by it. They did not see the light until they were grown. By then, it was blinding. Subtlety rogues vanish mid-fight, striking from angles that shouldn't exist, turning duels into a work of art. For them, combat isn't about damage. It's about control, timing, and deciding when the fight is allowed to end, and their opponent may rest for good.
Damn.
Rogues are not heroes, at least not in the traditional sense of the word. They don't lead the charge or save a village while shouting valorous calls, but they are ruthlessly effective. When vainglorious champions arrive to claim victory, with their noses held high, the rogue has already waded knee-deep in the shit and filth to assure it so. They are commandos who cut supply lines, silence sentries, and ensure the battle is decided long before the first ostentatious banner was raised. History is written by conquerors, but the present continues due to the rogue.
This was really fun. This was really fun. And I really liked how he was able to present the 3 specs of the rogue. Like I said, it's really like specs that are like, I actually had no clue how to not make them sound boring when you try to present them. He really did a good job on this one, and the AI rendering is really, really dope. Thank you, yeah boy Tyler. All right, this is it for now. Was fun to react to all this content. I'll see you another time, and as always, be toxic.